At Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida, it is 82 degrees. Happy Easter. We apologize for our technical difficulties in the first inning. All you missed was 6 up, 6 down. So we'll just start here in the second. Why not?
We saw a lot of domination. Domination from Fernandez was 2 strikeouts. And then Jaime Garcia killing the grass. Ground ball after ground ball after ground ball.
Unfortunately for the fan base in both these markets, they missed one of the spectacular opens that we have ever done together. As a matter of fact, it was the only one we've ever done.
You know what? That's the beauty of re-airs. Tune in.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Matt Adams. A real concern for the Cardinals is trying to get Matt Adams more at-bats, keep him sharp if he's not going to play every day. That will help his cause with a base hit into right field. The first hit in this game off the bat of Adams.
This is a really good at-bat right here by Matt Adams. We're going to look at the pitch location, see where Fernandez is, exactly where the catcher wants it, right down there. Mathis goes down and gets it. Justin Bour, instead of going after the baseball, went towards the bag. First baseman has to be able to make that play and needs to know where his second baseman is.
Now it's Jed Jerko, who's at shortstop today. First pitch swinging, fouled back. Jerko this spring has hit 190. He's driven in 6, no home runs. Barry Bonds saying the other day he believes this is one of the hardest ballparks, at least at this time of the year, to put up numbers and to hit in because of the wind, and it's spacious. He said it's definitely, in his mind, a pitcher's park.
Dan, I never liked playing here at all. And one of the biggest reasons is the backdrop, the screen back there. As a hitter, it's see-through, so you don't really get to pick up the pitches very well as we're watching Barry Bonds right then and there. But you see there, you can see the batting cages in the background. Those are the Cardinal batting cages. It is tough to pick up the baseball when you're hitting here, especially when it's this bright.
Fernandez shaking his head as he walks off the pitching rubber and upset that he did not get the call from C.B. Buckner, who is our home plate umpire. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, maybe the umpires are in spring training form too.
Or that's just C.B. There he is.
Might be the latter. You said it, I didn't.
A motto of consistency, C.B. And Angel Hernandez, I just spent some time with him in Cuba. Chris Conroy.
And David Rackley as well. Yeah, we're going to talk about your trip to Cuba. We got Brian Pena, who's on deck, who has been there as well on a goodwill tour. There's a base hit out to left, so the first 2 have reached. You know, Fernandez is going to be a little upset as he glares back at C.B. Buckner. He wanted the called 3rd strike, didn't get it, and now he gives up the base hit, and the first 2 have reached here in the top of the second.
And this is what Don Mattingly, Juan Nieves are going to be looking at with Fernandez. He's stingy when it comes to giving up runs. This is where he bears down. Brian Pena coming up right now has to try to get a ball that he can drive and pull to at least get Matt Adams to third base.
It wasn't only the errors for the Cardinals yesterday, but also what they did with runners in scoring position. First 4 innings, they stranded 8 and did not score. And losing 7-0. That swung on and missed by Brian Pena, the 34-year-old from Havana, Cuba. What a trip you just had, huh?
Oh, unbelievable trip, and I love his number. That was the number I wore when I was a Cardinal.
How many years in St. Louis for Eduardo Perez?
Not too many. I wish it would have been more. It felt like it was only like 1. I had such a great time in St. Louis. Look at that number. That looks beautiful. Say Perez in the back. Larry Walker used it after me.
Well, the Players Association of Major League Baseball made a goodwill trip to Cuba this past offseason. The appearance in Cuba was the first by MLB since the Orioles played an exhibition game in 1999. And Pena was part of that. John Jay, Clayton Kershaw, Yasiel Puig, Jose Abreu. And Pena hadn't seen family members for over 17 years.
That's crazy. And, you know, I just came back from Cuba with covering the game for the Tampa Bay Rays also playing against the Cuban national team, and was able to do a lot of things there. But at the end of the day, it's still as oppressive as it has been. And you feel for the people over there, but they're such a delight, loving people.
The 3-1 pitch is driven into deep right center field. This ball is off the wall. Now there's confusion as to whether or not that ball was caught. They're saying it's caught, as Adams did tag up. And now everybody's confused.
No, it was not caught at all. The only thing was Adams was tagging up at second base while Gyurko passed him on the base path. So Gyurko is out automatically. Pena goes to second base. Adams stays at third base. The mistake here was actually done by Adams. He should have at least been a couple steps from second base. And Gyurko also made the mistake of not seeing the runner in front of him.
And Don Mattingly is trying to get an explanation because he can't figure it out either.
See, he's looking at the ball over there. He tags, then he stops, realized that the ball didn't fall. A miscommunication completely on the bases. This is why spring training is important. These things cannot happen during the regular season.
So they may have to appeal this potentially.
I don't believe so. I don't think they have to appeal it at all. I mean, at the end of the day, Gyurko cannot pass the lead runner.
So
the lead runner was Adams. They never exactly. Adams now goes to second base. See, in this situation, Adams, the most he's going to get is one base. So why is he tagging up? He can be 4 or 5 steps from second base. If the ball is caught, can then go back to the bag and tag up and get to third base standing up without a problem.
So it goes down as a double for Pena. Gyurko is out, and there's only one down, as that ball was not caught. The confusion, too, was that back by the cage, right when that ball got down, there was a couple of balls behind that with guys working out that may have been picked up by the players to see that as well.
This goes down on my scorecard as an ay-ay-ay.
Rule 6.2-58, Eduardo Perez. Ay, 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 ay. Ooh, that's nasty there to Tommy Pham. And it is 2 balls and 1 strike.
That went from having 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs for Brian Pena, because Gyurko would have scored easily, to runner at third, no runs scored, and with a strikeout pitcher on the mound.
The 2-1. And again, a breaking ball to Tommy Pham for a strike.
That's the curveball I was talking about. If you can throw that for a strike behind in the count, that's what makes a pitcher special. That's why Jose Fernandez can dominate with that pitch. Then he can wipe it out now out of the zone and make Tommy Pham chase. Or give a fastball up in the zone. See?
There it is. He strikes out Pham. Boy, this is a frustrating inning from the Cardinals' perspective. They did not score yesterday. Again, they stranded 8 in the first 4 innings. And then they've got Fernandez a chance to score against him. And now it's going to be very, very tough with 2 outs.
That's that late break right there. And you have Jaime Garcia on deck. We're starting to get almost into the regular season play. Now you're going to walk Greg Garcia to get to Jaime Garcia to get out of this inning.
3 weeks ago, you would not see this. You would see Fernandez pitch to Greg Garcia. But you, as you mentioned, you're trying to get more into those game action type situation.
3 weeks ago, you see a DH hitting.
Exactly. Exactly. As the National League teams down here have been using their pitchers the last week or so to hit, get them ready. So Garcia draws the walk intentional. And Jaime Garcia will bat against Fernandez.
Who said you don't want to win spring training games?
Well, the Cardinals have won just 1 of their last 12 games. That's it.
Well, you said yesterday they lost 7-zip, left a lot of runners on base.
5 errors.
5 errors. Sloppy baseball. If you're going to do that, at least do it a week before the season starts.
Right.
Get it out of the way and then start playing clean.
The Cardinals have a pretty good hitting staff led by Adam Wainwright and Mike Leake. Leake is one of the top hitters in terms of pitchers in the National League. Wainwright as well, and Garcia could swing the bat too. No balls, 2 strikes on Jaime Garcia. And he hits it out of play.
That's the other thing. You don't have Jose Oquendo at third base. He's been there for so many years. Such a great third base coach. Instead, you have Chris Maloney, which is usually the first base coach, at third. That's when Jose will tell you, you have to be aware of the fly ball when you're at second base. Communication is key. Base running is a secret to success.
And the Cardinals also talked about, we had John Mozeliak, the Cardinals GM, on the air yesterday, the absence of Oquendo, who's dealing with knee surgery. He's on crutches, trying to get ready for the regular season, but also his influence with the infielders and defensively getting them ready, it's a loss. As Garcia strikes out, and Jose Fernandez has 4 in the first 2 innings. Giancarlo Stanton leads it off when we come back. And the ay-ay-ay-ay play.
That's right. Ay-ay-ay. That's 3 ay-ay-ay's.
What is going on here? No score midway through 2. We hope you're having a great Easter Sunday along with Eduardo Perez of Fox Sports Florida. I'm Dan McLaughlin of Fox Sports Midwest. Overcast skies here in Jupiter, Florida, very warm and muggy as both teams are wrapping up spring training this week and then kick off the regular season. The Cardinals kick it off a week from today. They'll be in Pittsburgh. When I was looking at the weather, a week from today, the high is supposed to be 37 degrees next Sunday in Pittsburgh. A little chilly, the Steel City, next week. What does this guy have to do to get to even a better level in terms of being one of the elite power hitters in the game? He's already one of the best, if not the best. Where else can he go with his game?
Stay healthy. To me, that's the most important part of Giancarlo Stanton's game. Freak injury last year with the hamate, but at the end of the day, stay healthy. There's no one stronger, no one that can hit the ball further than this man in all of Major League Baseball.
You were the hitting coach for a while with the Miami Marlins. What was it like being around Stanton every day in terms of his preparation for games?
His discipline is what makes him special. He goes out there, the focus that he has and the determination to become one of the best or the best player in the game is what stands out to me. Because
3-0.
You can be as strong as you want. At the end of the day, you have to be able to work at your craft, and he does that so well. He has the green light right here. Everyone knows it, even Jaime Garcia and Brian Payne.
He homered against the Cardinals on a 3-0 pitch earlier this week. He's hit 2 this week, and 1 cleared the building in left. It was one of the mammoth shots we've ever seen here.
The camera can't even pick that up where it fell. That's how far it was.
It's incredible, his power. The 3-1 pitch. Just missed as Garcia looks into CB Buckner trying to figure out the strike zone. First base runner for the Marlins today. It's a walk to Stanton, and it brings in Martin Prado.
This is going to be the key to the Marlins' success this season, is how good the number 5 hitter is going to be. Stanton needs to have protection. I believe, and I'm saying it right now, that no one will be walked more intentionally this year than Giancarlo Stanton. They are going to try to get Martin Prado and Justin Bour to make them and force them to have to pitch to Stanton by them producing.
So then the question becomes, Eduardo, if you're Don Mattingly, do you look at Ozuna or Yelich and try to maybe bring them behind Stanton, either one of those guys, to provide better protection?
No, not right now. They're set in their ways with from what I've talked to, Don, and what they have said with the Marlins, to have Ozuna in the 2 spot, Yelich in the 3, Stanton in the 4. Not only do you get protection behind, but you are also providing protection in front. Yelich gets on base a lot, gives you really good quality at bats. You can create a lot of havoc. Runners on base also creates protection for Stanton.
Runner at first is Stanton. And with all the ground balls that Jaime Garcia can get, it is imperative that the Cardinals play decent defense, if not above average defense, on the infield when Garcia is on the mound. And today we've seen Jed Jerko with a couple of ground balls already hit to him. 0-2 on Martin Prado. Career .291 hitter that's spent 10 years in the big leagues. 0-2 pitch, hit out of play.
One thing to notice, we said it in the opening, we have to watch Jaime Garcia on the mound holding runners at first base. All these pitches against Martin Prado have been up in the zone. That's one thing the Cardinals are trying to address. Try to get him to throw that ball down, because he's a ground ball guy, as you said previously. Must pitch down the zone to be effective. If not, he's going to get hit hard up.
0-2 pitch, and that swung on and missed. First strikeout for Jaime Garcia. It was such an issue that Garcia, and the Cardinals did this with John Lackey a year ago. With veterans, if they ask if it's their turn to skip a start here to go work on something in the backfields, they'll allow them to do that. And so what we talked about in the open is that Garcia actually, in his last start 5 days ago, pitched on the backfields and worked exclusively from the stretch and with runners on.
Right, and see there, he was able to catch up his top part. His arm was able to catch up to his leg because it was a high leg kick. The concern is when he has to speed up the delivery, the arm does not catch up. It's not catching up to his legs. He needs to be able to do that. With Stanton at first base, he's not concerned about the runner.
Justin Bour had a breakout season last year from Miami. Hit .262 with 23 home runs. All those home runs, though, coming against right-handed pitching.
Exactly, and that's where I was going with it. He needs to prove that he can hit left-handed pitching. If he does that, that only extends the lineup for the Marlins, only makes it better. In the meantime, against left-handed pitching, if he does not prove that he can, then maybe you have a Chris Johnson that's on the roster also that might be platooning with Justin at first base.
Here's the 0-1. So how do you improve upon that? You're the former hitting coach, as I mentioned, with Houston and with Miami, and there's the splits. What do you try to do with the hitter to improve the lefty-lefty matchups?
Well, I do two things. One, you have to give him the opportunity to go out there and prove that he can. You have to give him at bat. You cannot just sit him down against lefties all the time, because then it actually affects his swing against righties, only seeing righties. It's very difficult to do. Two, I would bring in a batting practice pitcher and put him around the second base area and throw at an angle so he stays closed the entire time, and he allows the baseball to get deep so he can use the entire field. He's more of a pull hitter on the ground. He has to become more of a line drive hitter up the middle in order to hit lefties.
3 balls, 1 strike. So he's in a hitter's count here against Jaime Garcia. At 3 ground ball outs in the bottom of the first. This inning, a walk to Stanton, strikeout of Prado. Now a count of 3 balls, 1 strike. Fouled back.
See, that's the pitch right then and there that he can't miss. There's a pitch middle away. He was a little off balance, flying open instead of daring the left-handed pitcher to jam him. That's a pitch that his long arms can really get out there if he feels aggressive enough to go and get it.
See if the Marlins want to start Stanton. Pena's been dealing with a sore arm, by the way, behind the plate. Garcia thinking the same thing.
Stanton right there showed that he was actually going to go, but not with a good jump. The thing is, making a quality pitch and being able to get Stanton, he's not going to get a good jump at first base. I actually don't send him here.
He is running the 3-2. They start the runner. They avoid the double play. Jerko to first, and the pick by Adams. A low throw. So there's 2 outs, and it brings in the catcher, Real Muto.
Really curious right here. If you watch Jerko take the ground ball, Carpenter actually is right to his right almost. If Stanton wants aggressively, he can continue to run. There was no one at third base right when he was delivering that throw. During the regular season, it's something that cannot slip by. An aggressive runner on the bases does not hesitate, and teams that are studying the Cardinals defense, they will take advantage of that during the regular season.
2 outs, runner at second. Opening day of 2015, no rookies were on the Marlins roster. By season's end, 14 wound up in the big leagues. 14.
You know what that means? Long season.
Long season. And for the Marlins, it was, with changes with their managerial position. They finished up 71-91, third in the National League East.
Did you count the rookie manager on that one too?
No, I did not, but that was part of it too.
Okay.
Dan Jennings.
DJ, good man.
He was here at the ballpark yesterday. Mike Hill, the president of baseball operations for the Marlins, will join us coming up in the 3rd inning. And the 0-2. Strikeout for Garcia, 2 in the inning. Marlins strand their first runner of the afternoon. We head to the 3rd. The top of the lineup coming up for St. Louis. No score on this Easter Sunday.
Is coming up on Tuesday, April 5th against the Detroit Tigers at 7:10 p.m. Arrive early and enjoy all the opening night festivities, plus the first 15,000 fans get a 2016 Marlins calendar. Secure the best seats available with a season ticket plan starting at just $6 per game. Go to marlins.com/tickets today.
Top of the 3rd, there's no score. The Cardinals and the Marlins. And our guest this afternoon is Mike Hill, the president of baseball operations for the Miami Marlins. And we appreciate your time. How are you?
Oh, my pleasure, guys. Good to see you.
Spring training going well for you?
So far, so good. You know, you consider yourself in the back stretch right now. Last week of camp, and things have been good. Work has been good, and now it's just a matter of hopefully getting out of here healthy, without issue, and guys ready to go come that opening night against Detroit.
We were talking about health. Besides my dad being in the training room all the time, how's the training room been so far for the rest of the guys?
That is interesting with
you don't mind
Doggy
having
in
a Hall of
there.
Famer.
Yeah, Hall of Famer. They can do whatever they want. Truly. He's earned that. But we got the information on Carter Capps to begin spring training, and that was unfortunate. We're expecting him to be a big part of our back end of the bullpen. But we beyond that injury at the outset, as I knock on wood, we've been healthy.
There's a 1-2 to Carpenter, and it's taken low 2-2. Jose Fernandez, how do you balance him saying, look, I'm ready to go, guns a-blazing, and then, pulling the reins back and saying, well, we've got a plan for you, too. How do you balance that?
Well, it's a maturation process, and he's passionate, and he knows he's a good pitcher, but we're thinking long-term with him, and I think that's the maturation process where you talk to him about, we want him to be healthy and successful for the next 10 years and not just live in the moment, but to have a game plan, which we went over with him, that spelled out how we were going to keep him healthy through 162 games and into the playoffs.
Before spring training started, did you guys already know about that game plan and to be able to give it to Jose?
This was something that we knew before we even got here. You knew he had the surgery in May of 2014. He had a half season last year in 2015, and you knew there were going to be some restrictions as you looked to the 2016 season. So we wanted to be proactive. We got to his doctor early with the range, and it's really common sense with how you deal with the athlete, and he was a part of the process throughout, and we made sure that when we ultimately finalized it, that we had buy-in from everyone and everyone knew what was going on.
Come on, Mike, tell me the truth. How many home games is he going to have to pitch now by the 2 spots? Is it going to be a lot more?
The guy never loses at home.
If there was a way that we could do it, we tried. We look at every way possible, but we just he's a tremendous talent in our game, and we want the world to be able to see him as much as possible, and to do that we have to keep him healthy. And strike out there looking, ball out of outer third to play. That's good to see that.
Yeah, you'll take that.
Yeah, definitely always good to see that. But we're mindful of that, and the plan we put together, we just wanted to make sure that we wanted to keep him on the field and keep him healthy, because I think that's the thing that's most important to us.
How about the transition with a new regime down in the dugout with Don Mattingly? How's that gone?
It's been tremendous, and Donnie and his staff with Tim Wallach and Juan Nieves and Barry Bonds, there's probably a lot of people who had some reservations as we got to spring training, but it's been seamless, and Donnie and his staff have been great.
Marcell Ozuna in the number 2 spot in the lineup. How are you guys going to be able to protect Giancarlo throughout the season?
Well, I think the big man you see standing down there at first base will have a big part of that, and Justin Bour. And I think as you look at our lineup and talking with Donnie, as we experimented with the lineup and how things were going to look, we like the thought of getting Marcell those fastballs and getting him in an account where he can be aggressive and do some damage, with hopefully D. Gordon on base a lot in front of him. But Justin, it's a big year for him as well. He had 23 home runs and a little over 400 PAs last year. So we like the power potential with him, and we look forward to a big season for him protecting G.
Mike Hill is the president of baseball operations for the Marlins, kind enough to join us this half inning, as Brandon Moss has worked the count to 3-2 with 2 outs and nobody on.
Dan, Mike might luck out, get out of here quickly if Jose can get this hitter.
Well, that's why he agreed to do it when he's on the mound. I don't blame him.
Now we're lucky enough to keep him, even though he's not too happy with the walk.
We were talking about Stanton earlier. What do you think Barry Bonds can do for a guy like Giancarlo Stanton? Because they're both, supreme players and hitters.
I think that's what was most intriguing to us as we discussed the possibility of Barry Bonds. When you're the type of star that Giancarlo is and how Barry Bonds was, they almost speak a different language.
Right.
Eduardo played in the big leagues for a long time, so he knows some of it. But when you can talk superstar to superstar on the different levels of hitting, and I think that's where Barry will prove his most valuable, is when he can talk about how he set pitchers up and how he was productive in his career, throughout his career, in setting pitchers up or ground ball. Matt Adams, nice play by Prado there to get out of the inning. Well, it was right in front of me, so I didn't want to leave you guys hanging, so I figured I'd finish it off for you.
Hey, have a great year. We appreciate you stopping by.
My pleasure, guys.
Thank you. No score midway through 3. Eduardo Perez of Fox Sports Florida. I'm Dan McLaughlin of Fox Sports Midwest. Many thanks to Mike Hill coming in, and we were just talking in between innings about what Barry Bonds is doing for Stanton. We were cut off a little short with that ground ball, but it is pretty amazing to listen to Barry talk about approach and how a pitcher is going to get Stanton out.
It's basically what you're doing for me right now, right? And
here we go. I've known you too long, man.
Way too long. And Barry, when he speaks, it's so in-depth. He's been there, he's been in that box, and he's proven that he's done it, and he's done it better than anyone else in the game. And that's why the credibility factor comes immediately, and it's the passion. I spoke with him earlier in spring, sat down, had a conversation with him. He is at a different level. And that is exactly what Mike Hill was talking about, and that's what the Marlins are hoping for, that it translates into success not only for Giancarlo Stanton, but also for Marcell Ozuna, for Christian Yelich, and the rest of the fish.
Adeiny Echeverria at the plate, coming off his best offensive season. We know about the glove. Seems to be a finalist for the Gold Glove every single year when you see the Marlins shortstop.
And one more thing about Barry Bonds, Jose Fernandez will also benefit from it, because Jose Fernandez, I see him all the time when he doesn't pitch as Adeiny strikes out, trying to check his swing. He is picking Barry Bonds' brain all the time. What are hitters thinking? What would you look for in this count? And not only that, one thing they have in common, they love cycling. So they put in a lot of miles also off the park, out of the park, in the mornings. And when you have not only your best pitcher, but your best hitter listening to the all-time great, oh my, what a good combination.
Here's Jose Fernandez. We know he can swing the bat a little bit, showing bunt and looks at a strike. Jaime Garcia has struck out 3. He has walked 1 as the Marlins are looking for their first hit today.
Don't throw him another fastball, Jaime. Better come change up.
He did.
Good choice.
So he can hit the fastball.
He can hit the fastball.
Everybody clap your hands.
Cardinals have a new backup this year. Tony Cruz gone. Brian Pena is in, signed from Cincinnati. And we were talking about your trip to Cuba, and Brian was telling me how emotional it was for him to go back to Cuba. Basically, he said, and maybe you can follow up on this, he said that his cousin is a doctor in Cuba and essentially has the education of what would be the equivalent of somebody that went to an Ivy League school. And he said basically he is making about $10 a month in Cuba, being one of the premier doctors of the country. That's incredible.
That's just about right. And That's how they do it down there. That's what a socialist country is all about. That's what I got to know a pediatric neurosurgeon that actually is at the elite at the top, and she makes $60 a month, and she lives well above her means. And that just tells you right then and there, things have to change in order for people to be able to experience more than just serving a country, and hopefully things will open up. We saw Jose Fernandez, which was very vocal with the trip that the Rays took down to Cuba. He was jailed for 4 times before he was able to finally get out. The 4 times were him trying to get out of Cuba. And at the end of the day, all we want is, how we say in Spanish, un Cuba libre. Free Cuba. And once that happens, and the only way for that to happen is the regime has to go. I said it in Cuba, I'll say it again. And again, I'm a Cuban American raised in Puerto Rico. I have the pride of all 3 flags, and I want the people of Cuba to be free.
That's in the dirt to D. Gordon. There's been talk that the players that have defected, that are now a part of Major League Baseball, would be able to represent Cuba again in international competition.
Right, and that would be something, but the beauty of it is that the players here in the U.S. would have a choice. They can have a choice. It's not they're told to. And that's what I like about this whole thing, that they can make their decision. Jose Fernandez said, you know what, right now I wouldn't. Maybe I would later on if things change, but a lot of things have to change in order for that to happen.
Glove by Jerko, flipped to first. Adams back down on the bag. What a play. Jerko ranging to his left, and a hard hit ball off the mound. And then the high throw to Matt Adams, who came down on the bag. A 1-2-3 inning for Garcia. We head to the 4th, scoreless.
Problem with when you are the fastest runner in the game and you don't run hard out of the box all the way through first base on a ground ball, I kind of cringe. And fortunately, I'm not in uniform in the dugout, because I'd let him know right away. His teammates have to let D. Gordon know right away. Watch when he hits this baseball. He thinks it's a base hit. As soon as Gurko catches it, he shuts it down. Ball is over Adams' head. He would have easily been safe if he runs through the bag. During the regular season, this can't happen. You know what? During spring training, this can't happen if you're 100% healthy. Why? Because you have thousands of people here paying good money to watch you as a major leaguer play the game.
Jed Jerko skies one on the infield. And the catch is made by Prado.
And this is one kid that has hustled his entire career. Led the league last year in infield hits, always hustles. But little things like this have to be noted. You see right there, stops, shuts it down. That right there cannot happen.
He brings in Brian Pena, who doubled his first time up. And a running snafu cost him an RBI, maybe even 2. As Jed Jerko circled the bag at second base where Adams was occupied, he went around him, and so automatically he was out. And if you're wondering how to score it, you score it to the nearest defender. So in that case, it would have been the shortstop. So it's a play that goes 6 in your scorecard.
No, it doesn't. It goes ay, ay, ay in my scorecard. That's how I have it written.
I know you do.
Right there. Somewhere around here. There it is. Ay, ay, ay.
Here's a 3-0 pitch. And Pena draws the walk. Be interesting. I wish we had more time with Mike Hill, but Chen gets the opening day start. Jose Fernandez, number 2. Then Tom Kohler is your 3rd. And it looks like Adam Conley and Jared Cozart would be your 4 and 5.
Cozart has had a very solid spring. I saw actually his first game in the majors was with the Astros against the Tampa Bay Rays, and he was dominant in that game. This is a kid, if he stays focused, his ball moves, sinks, runs. Tough to barrel up.
Cozart was on the backfield yesterday, faced the Mets Class A hitters, and the point of that was to work on his breaking ball, his off-speed pitches, and apparently Juan Nieves said he came away very, very impressed as that ball scoots away from Real Muto, but Pena not going anywhere.
I think the Marlins have one of the most athletic starting pitching staffs.
They do.
In Major League Baseball. Jose Fernandez, need I say anymore? He can do a lot of things. Cozart is actually a very good basketball player. Really good. Tom Kohler is the one that brings everything down. I mean, in reality. Tom, I love you, but...
Tough guy from the Bronx?
Yeah, Stony Brook.
You're a little tough, huh?
Yeah, I'm honest. I'm an open book. I'm honest.
Tom Kohler was with us during the broadcast the other day, and he said he grew up idolizing Don Mattingly in New York. And now here he is, his manager.
Let's see how much he idolizes him when he takes him out of the game.
Right. Doesn't agree with some decisions. And again, that gets away from Real Muto. I saw your dad today. I said, I'm working
Training room?
No. We were in the training room. He was over at the hotel, and I said, hey, I'm working with Eduardo today. And he had the biggest smile, and he's always smiling. He's the happy-go-lucky guy.
Why wouldn't he? I mean, it's good to be Tony Perez. He's awesome. He's my hero. Everything I am today is because of everything that he and my mother taught my brother and I, and grateful to be his son.
You know, it's interesting with what's happened with the Adam LaRoche situation with his son Drake being around the ballpark, and then he said, look, if I can't bring him around, I'm not going to stick around for $13 million. And I brought up the story that you told me when you were a member of the Cardinals. You said that when you were growing up around the Big Red Machine, Sparky Anderson, the only way that he would let you guys in the clubhouse after a game is if they won. That's hit out to deep left field, and this ball is gone. It's a home run. Tommy Pham, his second this spring, and a long home run, and it's 2-0 St. Louis.
Before we touch on the LaRoche situation, this one right here, beautifully hit, 3-2 count. Tommy Pham looked like he was sitting off speed the entire time. Jose Fernandez throwing it for a strike. Pham, let's not forget, last at-bat struck out on off-speed pitches. Fernandez threw it to him on a 1-0 count. Again, came back 2-2. One too many off-speed pitches for Fernandez, and Pham made him pay.
There's Greg Garcia. He pops it up, left side in foul on a play.
And going back to the LaRoche situation, yes, you're absolutely right. Sparky Anderson would actually gather the kids and say, and the players, and would tell them, listen, if we win, they're welcome in the clubhouse. If we lose, I don't want them anywhere near. I want the players to reflect on the loss. I don't want this to be
That was a base hit for Garcia.
I don't want these kids to be hanging around playing because they might not know the difference. Then again, we were 5, 6, 7 years old. This is different. LaRoche's son, 14 years of age. I started wearing a uniform in the clubhouse at the age of 13, and I was around a lot. I'll admit that. And I cannot be a hypocrite and say, well, kids shouldn't be in the clubhouse. One thing is we knew where we were welcome and where we weren't. And my dad always told me, any player that tells you, get out of the way, you get out of the way. Do not question it. You're not a big leaguer. You're here by invitation. If they told my dad, if they would have came back and told him in this situation, hey, Tony, back it off with your son here in the clubhouse, you know what? He would have backed it off, and I would have respected that, and so would have he. It's very admirable what LaRoche did, but leaving $13 million on the table, let's not lose perspective now.
Right.
It's $13 million, Dan.
Trust me, I'm with you. As Garcia hits it out of play. And those kids that were around with you was probably Pete Rose's kid, you had Tony Perez's kid, you had Sprague's kid, you had Griffey's kid.
McRae.
That's right.
You had, in total, it was 12 of us that signed professionally.
Wow.
And 5 of us won in the first round.
Is that right?
We knew the importance of winning. Because every time that team lost, we weren't allowed in the clubhouse. We knew we had to win. We were all competitive.
It was a check swing and a strike on Garcia.
I thought that was a strike on the pitch also.
So Garcia strikes out. By the way, the Marlins do have a lefty getting loose in their pen. The pitch count for Fernandez is getting up there with 79 pitches on the day, and now 5 strikeouts. And Don Mattingly is going to go to his lefty to face Carpenter, and that'll be it for Fernandez. So-so day for Jose Fernandez. Matter of fact, that's 6 strikeouts, not 5, but 6. But he did walk 2. The 3 total. One of those was intentional.
Right. He had that rocky second inning that he was able to get out. Luckily with the AAI play.
2-0 St. Louis.
If Uncle's
Two outs, runner at first, and I know, Eduardo, you really like this lefty.
I do. He's been getting those lefty hitters out. Very uncomfortable. He has a little hesitation before he starts his approach towards the plate. I think that has been a key for him. Getting ahead early in the count has been the other one.
Cody Ege facing Carpenter, and the first pitch is taken low and outside. By the way, the Cardinals just handed a press release, announced today that Jose Oquendo, who just had right knee surgery, is taking a medical leave of absence from the team for the foreseeable future. So he won't be with the club for a while. Wish Jose nothing but the best. So Chris Maloney will handle third base. Bill Miller coaching at first. Derek May, the minor league hitting coordinator, takes over for Bill Miller as the assistant hitting coach. And so that move will be added here before the season. The 2-0 pitch.
This right here is a very important at-bat for Iggy on the mound. Already coming down the stretch of spring training, Marlins already have Mike Dunn as their lefty in the pen. Always good to compliment. Iggy has opened a lot of eyes, and to be facing Carpenter, this is a good measuring stick for Don Mattingly and Juanchi Nieves and the front office. One of the best left-handed hitters against left-handed pitching in the game.
2-1 pitch. And Carpenter lifts a fly ball into shallow center field. So Iggy does his job. He gets Carpenter. And we are midway through 4 on Fox Sports Florida and Fox Sports Midwest. 2-0 thanks to a Tommy Pham home run for St. Louis. Along with Eduardo Perez of Fox Sports Florida, I'm Dan McLaughlin of Fox Sports Midwest. Wherever you may be, hope you're enjoying baseball and a beautiful Easter Sunday.
Talk about domination. How about the man on the mound so far, Jaime Garcia? Not only has he had 3 strikeouts on the day, but the most important part, everything on the ground. So far, no fly balls.
6 ground ball outs. So tell me a little bit about your conversation with this young man at the plate, Marcell Ozuna, before today's first pitch.
I had asked him, I said, what is different this year than anything that you did last year? He said, well, first of all, I worked with Robinson Cano in the offseason, and not only physically but mental aspect of the game is what Robinson Cano really helped him out with. It was more of, listen, stay true to yourself, start seeing more pitches. Marcell always jumpy at the plate, as you saw right then and there on that changeup. But stay back and see the pitches. Enjoy the at-bat. Start thinking about what they're setting you up with. And it has translated this spring training to better, more quality at-bats. Hitting in the 2 spot has actually helped also. He's been able to see more fastballs. That really plays into it. Start getting those numbers. Look at those gaudy numbers of 375 with 5 RBIs, 2 Palacayes. That makes a big of a difference right then and there.
Dropped 20 pounds in the offseason, too.
And when you do that and you work with a Robinson Cano, get in better shape. The Marlins, they had eyes wide open when Marcell was coming into spring training. They saw his physical condition, and they really liked what they saw. Now he can man center field better. Last year, a lot heavier. Couldn't do that. This pitch right here is what we were seeing last year out of Marcell Ozuna, going out of the strike zone. That is the difference between a 280 hitter and a 300 hitter. You have to be able to take those walks. I guarantee you Barry Bonds will be talking to him later.
Christian Yelich is grounded out today. That's now 4 strikeouts for Jaime Garcia. A little get me over breaking ball there.
That's his bread and butter. He goes to that early, then doesn't repeat it. Gets guys to chase out of the zone.
Now, Jaime Garcia, we talked about him working on the backfields his last time that he was scheduled to start, and the Cardinals, all they want to see out of him, just be healthy, because when he's healthy, he's got a chance to be special every 5th day. There's another ground ball. Jed Jerko gloves and throws and makes the play. Yelich is retired. He's 0 for 2.
Well, the Cardinals want to see if Jerko can man shortstop. This is actually the day to see it. So far, so good. Coming in on the baseballs. Accurate throws. Done really well. Adams bailed him out on one high throw. D. Gordon did not run. But so far, good to his left, good in. That's what you want to see.
Garcia getting ahead. First pitch strikes 10 out of 12 hitters he's seen.
That translates to good baseball. Another thing that I like about him, watch after the pitch if Stanton takes or swings and misses right here. Quickly, he gets back on the mound. Pena missed that baseball. That just tells you good movement late. I think Jaime Garcia actually is trying to pitch Stanton up in the zone. Stanton, a dead low ball hitter, loves the pitches down. You can get him out up in the strike zone.
Here's a 1-0. High chopper. That is a foul ball. Stanton last year broke his left hamate bone in late June. At the time of the injury, led the majors in home runs and RBIs. He finished up in 74 games. He still hit 27 home runs and drove in 67. Tremendous talent. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good matchup here.
Stanton using a different type of knob this season. You see that right there. It's more like it's an axe type handle. That way it creates less pressure on the hamate bone, on the hamate area, and allows him to swing freely.
You saw all the charts as a hitting coach, and you saw how guys were being pitched. What did you think of shifts? They drive you crazy with your hitters, or they just say, hey, it's part of the game, we deal with it?
I liked it. After being a hitting coach here, I was actually in charge of defense with the Astros, so I understand the advanced analytics part of it, the mental side, the grind that hitters go through. And I actually like moving defenses depending on the count of the hitter.
So you go by the count more than just game.
I go with the count, especially even if, let's say, a hitter is a power hitter, but it's true to form on the ground. Move the infield to pull situation, because I want to try to take his power away, and I'll allow him to just try to get that single. Change his method of thinking, change his approach. You do that to a good hitter, then now you're successful in changing what that hitter truly is.
Here's Martin Prado. They talk about Prado just being the ultimate professional. Been around a long time, as I mentioned earlier, over 10 years. Sprained his shoulder in the middle of the season, missed about a month, but still hit 288, 9 home runs, drove in 63. Two outs, runner at first, and a 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes.
Earlier in spring, I was talking to Martin, and he had told me about I need at least 60 at-bats in spring. That's when I start feeling well. If I get less, then I'll try to make up for it in the backfield somehow, some way. But it's about seeing pitches, being able to get that eye ready and make sure he knows where the bat head is when that opening day starts.
Here's a 2-0. And a ground ball again. Hit to Jerko. Forced play at second. That's 8 ground ball outs for Jaime Garcia.
They might have to resolve the infield after this game is over.
This is typical Jaime Garcia. He looks good so far. He's given up a couple of walks to Stanton, but that's it. 2-0 after 4.
Bring your group to Marlins Park this season. Enjoy a personalized experience and spend quality time with your guests at an affordable cost. Perfect for family outings, birthdays, and my favorite, networking. Call the Marlins group sales team today to make your group's reservation. Call 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/groups today.
Top of 5. 2-0 St. Louis as A.J. Ramos, the closer this year for the Marlins. And as Mike Hill talked about earlier, Carter Capps is out. At the start of spring, there was thought that maybe Ramos would compete with Capps, but it's his job now.
It's his job. He does have the mentality for it. You see right then and there, 32 saves. He's a kid that has to be able to establish that zone early, strikes, be able to establish the inside part aggressively.
There's Stephen Piscotty, who was struck out twice, 0 for 2 today.
Seems like Piscotty is not picking up the baseball well at all.
You're not the only one that has talked about this. We had Jim Edmonds in the booth the other day, and then I had the chance to visit with some of the players about the backdrop and how tough it is to hit here.
It's horrible. It's great at night, but during the day, I wanted no part of playing here as a home team. I would always tell Tony, which was my manager back then, I said, I'll go to every road trip. I'd rather play on the road. I had a better chance of making the team on the road than I did getting at bats here.
And in particular for lefties, when they face a lefty, the backdrop isn't quite as far extended as it needs to be to maybe go to the scoreboard. And so they don't pick it up out of that either.
No, they discriminated against every right-handed hitter when a lefty, a little bit three-quarters would come through.
Right.
I was very upset. That's where I made my living, Dan.
Right.
You have to understand that.
I remember calling many of those home runs, Eduardo.
I like that. I set it up perfectly.
A lot of those home runs. I also called some strikeouts, but that's beside the point.
That's true. But that happens. Great hitters know when to strike out.
Right. I'll sacrifice the home runs and the strikeouts, okay? If you give me power, you can strike out every once in a while. It's okay.
Oh, I knew the way back to the dugout, Dan. I knew it really well.
But you knew your role, too.
Right, and right there, A.J. Ramos actually did a favor to Stephen Piscotty by throwing him a breaking pitch that was going to be hittable. It wasn't going to be a strike, but it stayed up in the zone just enough.
Ramos took over in May as their closer. Saved 32 of 38. And they've got some power arms potentially in their bullpen, and this is one of them. 87 strikeouts in 70 1/3 as Moss checks his swing. The Cardinals, it's interesting, Eduardo, with Matt Adams in particular. He's dropped down a couple of bunts against the shift. Now you have a runner at first here. Moss is known to do damage, but would you advise guys in your lineup to bunt against the shift? As the runner goes, that's Piscotty, and he may have been tagged out. Oh, what a play by Echeverria.
That takes a lot of focus right there with Daney did. Catching the baseball, placing the tag, and getting out of the way. J.T. Realmuto, ball sails towards the runner's path. And Adeiny using his athleticism right here. A lot of shortstops bail on this, but watch what he does. Stays focused, puts down the tag, and gets that left foot out of the way.
Man, is he good or what?
He should have won the Gold Glove last year.
If he didn't get hurt down the stretch, he would have.
Right, and exactly. He missed most of the month of September. And another thing, if you look at this infield, Prado, Bauer, Echeverria, Gordon, which won the Gold Glove, none of them had double digits in errors. There was only one other team in the major leagues that had that done, and that was the Atlanta Braves. Everybody else had an infielder with double digits in errors.
And now with Simmons, Andrelton Simmons with the Angels now, you wonder if that opens up the door for Adeiny to win that Gold Glove.
There should be a Gold Glove up the middle. Both Gordon, both Echeverria, and one of the big reasons is a man that they call Bones, Perry Hill, first base coach, infield coach for the Miami Marlins, the best in the game.
The 2-2 is hit to the right side. Spinning is Bohr, flips to Ramos for out number 2. The Cardinals, by the way, that's their 35th stolen base attempt this year in spring training. So they're really trying to push the envelope. Now, granted, some of that damage was done by guys that are no longer here with the Major League club, but the point being they've really tried to push it offensively and generate some type of offense with stolen bases.
Right, and that has to do with Mike Matheny evaluating what he has. He understands the team that he has. He has to be able to steal a little bit more bases, push the envelope, let other teams that are scouting his team know this is going to be part of our game this year.
Here's Matt Adams. I was talking with him before the game, and you can understand this. He's trying to, and this is a good shot of it right here, really trying to stay back and balance. He's not rocking as much, which he did in years previous. Not as much movement at the plate. There's a base hit into center. Just trying to stay back and then explode into the baseball.
Right, and the Cardinals are using a lot of people at first base. Still, you don't know if Matt Adams, and he doesn't know if he's going to be getting a lot of at-bats regularly. The least amount of motion that you can do, the less amount of motion you can do at the plate, the better it is for your consistency to feel right at the plate. Coming off the bench to get quality at-bats is very difficult. You have to be able to get that barrel to the point of contact as consistent as you can.
Breaking ball and a strike to Jed Jerko, who's 1 for 2. Collectively, the bullpen last year for the Marlins, 3.66 ERA, right in the middle of the pack of Major League Baseball. But they blew way too many save opportunities. Especially early in the season. That was Steve Cishek, who was their closer. Then he was traded to St. Louis. He's now with Seattle. The Marlins converted 35 of 56 save opportunities. Think about that. 56 save opportunities. They only converted 35. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Instead, Ramos steps off.
This has been a real roller coaster ride today so far for Jed Jerko. So far, 5 for 5 at the shortstop position in ground balls. Great at-bat he had in the first at-bat, but then the base running blunder.
Right. Ball scoots away, and Adams advances to second base. It seems like Real Muto has had a real issue in just receiving the ball here today. Would you agree?
Again, it's tough to see for a hitter. It's tough to see for the runner. You see right there that he is telling the third baseman Prado, be aware. Here comes an off-speed pitch. Ground balls usually occur if in the strike zone to third base. Cover the line. Looked like a split finger right then and there to the dirt. JT will tell you he's the first one that should have blocked it. Brian Schneider, the catching coach for the Marlins. Guarantee you they'll have a little talk after the game, if not tomorrow, about that. That's what spring training is for. You have to be able to endure criticism if you are a major league player.
The 2-1 pitch to Jerko. Last time a Miami closer led the league in saves was Antonio Alfonseca. He had 45 back in 2000. Remember his nickname was the Octopus?
El Pulpo.
He had a 6 digit on his hand. Remember that? We're not kidding. He really did.
He did.
Let's take it inside by Jerko and a walk. Cardinals have received 4 walks today, and it brings in Brian Pena. Pena has doubled, and he's also walked and scored.
Number 33, catcher Brian Pena.
Brian Pena, by the way, just to kind of finish your thoughts on his trip to Cuba, wrote an article about it and how emotional it was for him. And he told me they got off the plane, then they were put on a bus, and he was at the back of the bus, then to go meet family and friends and people he hadn't seen in years, over 17, as a matter of fact. He said it took him a while to get off that back seat and to actually step on the ground in Cuba because he was afraid they were going to take him and not let him go. Knowing full well that was not going to be the case, but still very, very nervous going back. So I can't imagine the emotions for him going back, and certainly for you too. How many years had it been since you saw your cousins?
24 and a half years. It's tough, and as distant as we are, we're that close as a family also.
The pitch is popped up into shallow left. Yelich near the line and makes the catch. So the Cardinals strand a couple. They have stranded 7 today, but they have a lead of 2-0 midway through 5. Jaime Garcia with some strikeouts, a lot of ground balls. He's been very, very good so far today.
Right, and I said it earlier in our Emmy-nominated opening that no one saw, that he has to go at least 5 innings, do well, and keep the ball down. That's exactly what he has been able to do. Keeping hitters off balance. When you think you have barrel, all of a sudden what you're doing is just killing the sod.
We've already gone from an outstanding open to an Emmy nominated.
Potential. Send it in.
That's Eduardo Perez of Fox Sports Florida. He'll be with the Miami telecast for what, 70 games this year? Is that right?
Approximately 70. That's great. Give or take.
And of course you do a lot of work on ESPN and Baseball Tonight. So you'll be all over the place and not only keeping up with the Marlins, but the rest of baseball too. Absolutely, and that's our passion in our family, and why not? See you on Mondays, and then in Marlin games, I'll be all over the place, along with Preston Wilson and Al Leiter and some of Jeff Conine also picking up the slack. It's great. Here's Justin Bour. Bour grounded out to short, first time up. So look at this shift. You've got Jerko right behind the bag, basically at second base. From a player's perspective, you grow up, you never see these as a guy playing little league, high school, college, really in the minor leagues too, for the most part. That's changing now. How distracting is that? Not anymore. A couple years ago, absolutely, it was distracting. I remember Logan Morrison when he was with the Marlins. He would be baffled. The Cleveland Indians put it on him, and he hit 2 shots in the 3-4 hole, and they were outs. And he came back to the dugout. He did not know how to act, and that right there really took it away from him. And a ground ball this time to Greg Garcia. Had to come in from the outfield grass, and that's now 9 ground ball outs recorded by Jaime Garcia. know, Jaime, you watch him, it's not overpowering. It's a little this, little that, but a very good changeup. And just the Cardinals, and Mike Matheny's talked about this, the late movement makes him really difficult to catch. You know, some guys that are throwing 100, you could say that's difficult to catch if he's got a little movement. Garcia doesn't throw 100. He's around 88 to 91. But it's just the movement.
It's the movement, but it's the ability to be able to throw that pitch right there that he threw, the get me over curveball for strike early. Once he does that, he doesn't repeat it. If he does, he throws it in the dirt for a ball, but you see he goes hard after that, keeping the hitter off base.
The first base hit. Little bloop single to right, JT Realmuto. That's the first hit.
This is usually how it happens. As you see, Derek Lundqvist and part of Mike Matheny through the screen. But you don't barrel balls often consistently off Jaime Garcia when he's on. And that base hit was definitely not barreled. But if you're going to get a double play, guess what? You have the right guy on the mound.
Yeah. Echeverria, the Marlins shortstop, struck out his first time up. That pitch taken high. 2-0 Cardinals on a Tommy Pham home run. That was off of Jose Fernandez back in the 4th inning. Fernandez 3 2/3 today. Walked 3, 1 intentional, struck out 6. You knew Mike Matheny quite well as a player. Guy that grinded through every game, every at bat, every pitch. And basically you can say that's what he does as the manager too.
And he was there for his pitchers. Look at video. He'd bring in a sandwich and sit in front of the video and just study and be prepared. And we talk about Barry Bonds on the other side. Mike Matheny behind the plate. Not only did he mentor Yadier Molina coming up, but at the same time he understood what made each and every one of his pitchers click. When you have a guy like that as a player, now doing it as a manager, you have the recipe for success.
A 3-0. Take it for a strike.
I'd love to see the runner right now go on 3-1. You have a ground ball pitcher. You stay away from the double play. It could be a really good cookie. If he barrels it, that runner from first can score.
Johnson on deck. He'll be your pinch hitter, barring the double play. And the 3-1 not running. Now 3-2. Let's see if they start the runner here.
I know there's not a lot of speed at first with the catcher Realmuto, but for a catcher he runs pretty decent.
Really good athlete. There he goes, and the pitch is lined in the right center field. That ball is down. Realmuto to third. They'll wave him in. Echeverria drives in the first Marlins run to make it a 2-1 St. Louis lead.
You want to know how you hit lefties that throw sinkers and keep the ball down? You let it get deep and you drive it the other way. Realmuto's hit wasn't driven, but the base hit went that way. Again, this one, Echeverria did not try to pull, just hit it right back where it came from into the right center gap. Runner on the move. This is what happens. You produce and you create runs. Don Mattingly putting the runner in motion, and Lenny Harris, third base coach, sending him in, standing up.
So here's Chris Johnson, which you talked about could be a potential first baseman, can play the outfield, can play third base. And that ball scoots away from Pena. Not sure if he was crossed up or just didn't get it.
Didn't get it. It was a fastball. Catchers aren't supposed to block fastballs. So you at home, if you're wondering why it didn't get down and try to block it, those are the most difficult ones to just keep in front of you. Spiked it right in the dirt. That's all Pena could do.
So with that, the infield is drawn in. Tying run is down at third with 1 out. Here in the bottom of 5.
I would actually bring Greg Garcia a little bit more up the middle. You don't see a lot of ground balls from righties in the 4-hole. See a lot more in the air that way, especially with a sinker of Garcia.
Greg Garcia, the second baseman for the Cardinals, so you'd move him more to his right, towards the bag.
Right.
Floats in there for a strike, 1-1.
That's his get me over. I need a strike. I know hitters won't be looking for that or swinging at. Now that count is even, he has so much confidence in that curveball to throw it for a strike. It's been his go-to pitch early in counts.
Both clubs with activity in their pens. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Johnson. Down the right field line, slicing foul. Again, what you're talking about against a tough lefty. Try to let it get deep and go into right.
Go the other way. Now this is where Chris Johnson has to be careful. You cannot lose your aggressiveness now because you have 2 strikes. You can't try to let it get too deep because then he'll pound you hard in as the bullpen starts to throw.
It's Sam Tuivailala, the closer at AAA a year ago. Hard thrower. Saw him a couple of times with St. Louis. On 1-2, the next by Jaime Garcia. Breaking ball, ground ball. Jerko slides, makes a nice play. Run will score. And we're tied up at 2. Jed Jerko, a couple of nice plays in this game.
He's done a really nice job at shortstop. A really good decision to not go home with that. Right then and there, this ball to his left. You see where his position is right here. Watch his instincts. Immediately goes to it. Knows as soon as it goes 360 on the play, takes a look and knows who's running.
Brings in D. Gordon. Hanging breaking ball, and it's line foul. What could be his final batter that he sees today? Pitch count is at 71. Final tune-up before the regular season. Would you want to see him go any further?
No. This is exactly where I want to see him. He missed his last start. See him at 71 pitches. You get through 5 innings. This would be just perfect right up his alley with a stressful inning also.
Nice play by Adams on the backhand. He was playing in and steps on the bag as Gordon was hustling down the line. Love it. The Marlins tie it up. It's 2-2 as we head to the 6th.
A sweet new deal with an all-inclusive 10-game suite plan and the 6-game suite plan. Enjoy the comfort and luxury of your private suite with flexibility to select your games. No blackout dates, a fixed cost with great food and beverage menu options. Parking and more. Call 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/suites.
New game now as we move to the top of the 6th. It's 2-2. Cardinals jumped out to a 2-0 lead on a Tommy Pham home run, and the Marlins moments ago in the bottom of the 5th tied it up with 2 of their RBIs that came around, and now we're tied up at 2-2. And this guy has a live arm, this young man on the mound right now.
He does, and he's had a very impressive spring training, has been very aggressive. And I love the presence so far on the mound. Players and teammates have really taken a liking to him, of how he goes out there and just is not feared at all.
Tommy Pham on a breaking ball lifted this out to left field, and that made it 2-0. But Pham this afternoon is 1 for 2 with that 2-run bomb and also a strikeout. Where does he fit in the plans, this right-hander, in terms of where he could be in that bullpen? And Pham has his second hit of the afternoon.
Well, one thing that Urena could do is he could fill in as a bridge to A.J. Ramos. I mean, you see what he has now with Carter Capps not available for the entire season with Tommy John. Urena could work his way there to that point. What he has to do is show Donnie Baseball that he can throw strikes consistently and can be able to field his position. That's two things that I love out of pitchers. Not try to always go after the strikeout. Know when you're able to do what you have to do given the circumstance. There are certain situations where, yes, the pitcher has to get that strikeout, but also try to minimize as much as you can their pitches.
See if the Cardinals want to be aggressive here. They tried a stolen base earlier. It was a terrific play by the Marlins shortstop Echeverria with the dazzling tag and then avoiding a collision at second base. Pham is a threat to steal. He's got good speed. Ground ball hit to the right side. Gordon, the Gold Glover, gets a lead man and safe at first. But what a play to get the lead man by D. Gordon.
It was, and that right there is what makes D. Gordon so special. It doesn't matter what he does offensively on the day. It does not carry over to his defense. Presence of mind knowing that Pham is such a quick and fast runner. Get him out of the way, get him out of scoring position.
With those two up the middle, you're not going to find many better combinations in the game today than Gordon and Echeverria.
No, not at all.
I mean,
no,
they go get it.
This is potentially should be Gold Glove in each position this year in the National League.
Pinch hitter is Carlos Peguero. Peguero pinch hitting for Jaime Garcia. And he has opened up some eyes here at Cardinals camp. He does have a little major league experience, about 130 games with a couple of different stops along the way. Runner was going. That's Garcia. The pitch is popped up on the infield, and that's out number 2.
That was a very good jump also by Greg Garcia at first base. Peguero just missing that pitch. It's a big man also.
He's about 6'5", 250 pounds.
When I see guys like that and they make me feel short, I stay away.
Hey, you go what? You're about 6'4"?
6'4".
We'll leave the other part out. You don't have to know everything about that. Well, when you were playing, let's say that.
Oh, yes.
I love talking about that.
Oh, let's talk about that. 240 on good days.
Good days, good. All right. Days. Eduardo Perez of Fox Sports Florida, Dan McLaughlin of Fox Sports Midwest, as we are broadcasting to both areas of Cardinals country and Marlins territory as well. A lot of fun to do these. I always knew you were going to be a broadcaster. You talk so much on the planes and the bus rides. I knew it was just a natural transition.
So you're saying that I talk a lot, right?
No.
That's what you're saying.
When you're playing.
You're killing me here. I love it.
If I needed an interview, wait a minute. Where is he? Where's Perez? I got to get him.
Right here.
You were a pleasure to deal with when you were a player. Now?
You know what? But it's a different animal. When you're a player, you're talking pretty much about yourself and,
right,
you know, about the team perspective, always all positive. When you're broadcasting, you have to be able, one, to say the truth, what you feel. And that is very difficult to do when you're talking about other people, when you're talking about their careers. So now being able to do this and just having fun and being able to be in the booth with you and with so many talented play-by-play men that I've been in the past, you don't have to throw that in, that It's
At this point, I'm just rolling my
awesome.
eyes.
I know you are, and you're killing me right now. You're killing my mojo. I'm just glad there's no cameras here in the booth right now. I'm looking around, going, "Okay, Mike, where is it?" Mike's our producer.
No, we try to make it fun. But I do remember talking to you a number of times about your dad, and you've always given great credit to your parents. And you know what? It should be fun. This experience at the ballpark for these fans, and whether you're at home watching or enjoying spring training out here with the sunshine, it's a baseball game. It's fun. And your family went through so much to get here.
Exactly. And you said the key word, game. This is game. Yes, they're getting paid highly, the players are and everything, but at the end of the day, you look around the stands and what do you see? You see family. You see parents with their kids, teaching them the game, showing them, seeing who their heroes were. If you have Bob Gibson in the stands, or if you have Tony Perez, Andre Dawson in uniform, I mean, Lou Brock, Ozzie Smith. These are people, these are stars that you can see here, and you can share those memories with your son, with your grandkids. To me, that is the part that makes this game special.
3-2 pitch to Carpenter, and he swings and misses. Carpenter 0 for 4 today. So we are midway through 6. Nice play by D. Gordon moments ago. It's 2-2, St. Louis and Miami. Here's a look at Trevor Rosenthal. He was terrific a year ago for the Cardinals with 48 saves. It's amazing how the back end of bullpens, and you're not that far removed from being a player and being in these games. I mean, the back end of bullpens, and here's another example of the hard throwers. We just saw one from Miami. Here's Sam Tuiavalala that'll hit triple digits. It's incredible.
I know, and I talked to Big Papi about this earlier in Fort Myers, and he was telling me, he goes, this is a different beast. If you don't get a hit your first 2 at-bats of the game, I mean, forget it. It is real difficult to even hit the middle relievers now. They're just throwing a measly 95. You look at how successful the Kansas City Royals have been doing it. Starters are only responsible to go 5 innings. If they give you 6, it's a plus. And their bullpen is just lights out. They're all swing and miss guys.
This is Marcell Ozuna. Tuiavalala is a converted infielder and just a big arm. And there was talk when he first signed with the Cardinals that they may move him to the mound. They gave him a shot to be a position player. Then he realized it was in his best interest to move to the mound. I mean, when you're throwing triple digits in that body, and he's, got room for growth.
Reminds me a lot of a young Kenley Jensen from the Dodgers. Converted catcher on the mound now and lights out closer for the Dodgers. Same style of frame when Jensen moved into
1-2 pitch.
the mound.
Now, the key has been when a lot of these guys do make that transition, you know they've got the fastball.
Right.
You know, so now they're trying to incorporate a two-seamer to get the sink, and then you start thinking about a slider or a cutter. And that's the hard part for a lot of these guys, and that's what Sam has been trying to work on here in spring training. There's a fly ball lifted out to deep right field off the bat of Ozuna. In the gap in right center, it falls. And Ozuna, who can run on his way to third with a leadoff triple. Looked to be maybe a little miscommunication in right center field on that play.
Well, what you have is you have a lot of speed in Tommy Pham going to center field. He's going all out. And we're looking at the last week of spring training where a lot of players do not want to go running into each other. But the pitch is up in the zone. Not where he wanted it, not where Pena wanted it. And you see Piscotty right then and there, he just veers off.
I'm not sure I necessarily blame him.
Remember last year, Pittsburgh?
That's what
I know where you're going with that. I was there.
Peter Borges slammed into him, and Piscotty was in left and was knocked out cold, and amazingly was able to even return to game action before they went into the playoffs. But man, what a scary situation that was. How is that not in the back of your mind when you're going to a ball like this?
Right.
It's got to be.
It has to be. And you saw him veer right there, and you don't know. We could not tell if Pham was calling for it or not. But at the end of the day, playing right field, knowing that your center fielder is going all out, you take a peek. There's that hesitation.
So the infield is drawn in. Christian Yelich at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's kind of like when a hitter maybe gets hit in the face, you know, like a Stanton. I mean, how is that not in the back of your mind when you're playing at this level with guys that are throwing this hard?
It is, but you have to give a lot of credit to all the players that get back in there, and they're just gutsy when it comes to it. I took a real careful look at Stanton, and here you see Piscotty just right there, looks down, then veers off. That's where he made the mistake. Unless Pham was calling for it, he has to be able to continue to stay focused on the baseball.
1-2 pitch taken high.
That's easier said than done.
Sure.
Because you know, here comes Tommy Pham. He's not a little guy at all.
No. Put together, great shape. Watch out. The 2-2. And a strikeout of Yelich as Pena holds on. Joey Valala has the stuff to get out of these kind of jams.
Again, pitch up in the zone. Just want to be able to see Sam try to keep that breaking ball. Now, if he can prove that he can throw that breaking ball for a strike, then that's where he becomes lights out. This is going to be his biggest test right here with Stanton, because he'll try to overthrow, and there's no way you're going to overthrow 4 pitches. This is interesting to me. Right-handed pitcher. Yes, and I said it earlier on. Stanton will lead the league in intentional walks because the pressure is on the 5 spot. You started off with Jaime Garcia, a left-handed pitcher. Now you have Martin Prado following Giancarlo Stanton. They're going to play for the double play. This happens because the discipline of Giancarlo Stanton not chasing balls out of the zone lately is the reason he's being walked. And that man that we just saw is a big influence on why Giancarlo Stanton will be a better hitter within the zone, because of all the talk and all the repetitions that they get in the cage working together.
Let's say he gets 4 at-bats, Stanton, tonight. How many pitches does he realistically have a chance to swing at?
Depends on the score.
Yeah.
Depends on the score of the game. If it's an open game, he'll get pitches to swing at. If it's a tight game, that's the one guy that it's an obvious selection on. He is not going to beat us. And it's always going to be Giancarlo Stanton. Always.
So Prado digs in with a chance to put the Marlins on top. 2-2 game. Oof. Almost to the backstop, and that's, you know, you're just saying that overthrowing, you know, young closer in Tui Valala situation right here where he's got a chance to still make the club. So You just wonder right now if Brian Pena say, hey, settle down.
Breathe.
Breathe. Right.
You have to breathe. And you see those pitches. He has 17 pitches. You would want him to try to get through an inning, a clean inning, 15 to 18 pitches. That way you don't tax the arm. But he has to be able to throw that strike one first. Strike one.
3-0.
And you see where all the balls are going. They're going up, and they're going up and into the left-handed batter's box. That just tells you right there he is overthrowing and flying open.
1 of 4 first pitch strikes so far. 3-0. 3-1. Justin Bour on deck.
Martin Prado, professional hitter, understands the importance of that runner at third base.
And the bases will be loaded, so ball 4 to Prado, and Justin Bour has a chance to do some big-time damage here. The intentional walk to Stanton, then the walk to Prado, and now Bour. Eric Lilliquist out to visit with his young right-hander.
Well, one thing I would love to see out of this young right-hander coming off this visit is to see if he can throw me that first pitch breaking ball for a strike against Justin Bour. That will now, because Justin is going to be geared up for the fastball first pitch. If you're able to throw that pitch for a strike, now you're 0-1, and the hitter's like, oh, okay, we're throwing it for a strike. Still looking fastball, but I have to respect the fact that you can be able to throw that pitch for a strike, and I don't want to fall back up behind 0-2.
So the bases loaded. Bour today is grounded out twice, once to short, the other time to second base. Yeah, that first pitch breaking ball, you get that then all of a sudden in the back of the hitter's mind, but can you locate it? Ball 1. Bour with 23 home runs last year. Ooh, a big rip there.
He knows he missed that one. That's the one he wanted. Had it all set up with the bases loaded. He has to come to papi. So right then and there, right down the middle, he just missed it. Like the accent on it.
I do. I wish I could do. I can't even roll the tongue.
No. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
The 1-1 pitch is taken low. I can't do it.
No. Don't go there. Don't go there. You're spitting all over me here.
I didn't spit on you.
Mike. What are we doing up here?
It's the Hall of Famer Tony Perez. Let's get him up here.
He's in the clubhouse somewhere.
The 2-1 pitch. Ooh, 3-1, and now the Cardinals with that start to get activity in their pen.
This has to be a fastball right down the middle, and Justin Bour should not miss this pitch.
Sing Kwan Oh getting loose in the Cardinals pen. The 3-1 pitch.
He was cheating. That was movement too.
Yeah.
That ball just spiked. That's great angle. Top to bottom, real hard to barrel up.
Little chopper towards first, a play at the plate, force play. Pena stays on the home plate for the out. And Tui Valala is an out away from getting out of this bases loaded jam.
That's a nice play, and you have to give him a lot of credit. Adams coming in, knowing exactly what he had to do. As soon as ball hits dirt on contact, you charge. I don't care if you're playing first, second, or third. You see right here, ball hits dirt, charge immediately. You'll get a nice bounce right then and there. He knows the play is to the plate. No chance to get two. Pena staying right on top of the plate.
That's an at-bat that Justin Bour would love to take back. On the 3-1 pitch, on the check swing, he probably chased ball 4.
Right.
Where's that, Blue?
And everything missing towards the left-handed batter's box. Haven't seen anything up and in to righties.
It's 2-0 on JT Realmuto with the bases loaded. He had a bloop base hit that broke up the no-hitter that Garcia was throwing back in the 5th. Then came around to score on the double by Echeverria.
You know what time it is, right? Come to papi time.
No, it is with 2-0 and bases loaded.
Well, bases loaded.
And a fly ball lifted into right center field. Pham is on the move. Can't come up with it. 2 runs will score at least. And the Marlins have a lead of 4-2. A diving attempt by Tommy Pham in right center, and he came up short.
I would say that was more right field than right center field. You look at that ball, I would have thought from the get-go, fly ball, right field, no problem, can of corn. Instead, Piscotty's playing more down the line. There's no one there. See where this falls. Piscotty just gives up on it as he sees fans already committed. Probably called for it. Now you get 2 runs.
So runners at the corners.
This kid has really good stuff. He's able to control his emotions, not overthrow, see the angle, top to bottom, tough to barrel up.
So a 2-out double by the Marlins catcher. Realmuto gives Miami a 4-2 lead. Danny Echeverria with runners at first and third. That pitch is popped up. Is it playable? Looks to be. Garcia calls off Adams, and he makes the catch. And Garcia may have hurt himself going into the dugout. Something not quite right. Keep an eye on that during the break. It's 4-2 as we head to the 7th. Team of the Cardinals took a look at Greg Garcia. That's a live shot of him, and he's putting some of the weight, looks like, on his right leg, and routine play here. And then we just saw him kind of hop and skip into the dugout. Take a look here. He was grimacing after he made this catch.
That's not something you want to see, especially with that 3 knee surgeries. It's not, you never know what it is, and you just have to wait. See what the medical staff evaluates.
This is Edwin Jackson, now with his 10th major league team, entering his 14th big league season. The first pitch taken high by Stephen Piscotty to start the 7th inning. And the 1-0. A fly ball that's lifted into right field. Stanton near the line. And he makes the catch. We want to welcome into the conversation Christian Yelich, part of that great trio of outfielders for the Miami Marlins. Christian, we appreciate your time. How has camp gone for you so far?
So far, so good. I'm trying to finish out strong and take it in the season.
Christian, you look so serious there, man. You're sitting down, looking against.
Yeah, I'm still a little upset about what just happened, but JT picked us up.
This is Brandon Moss. Tell us about this camp, and now you've been around for a little bit with Don Mattingly, and what this has been like for you.
Yeah, he's been awesome. Him and Barry have been great. Wallach's been awesome. I think we're all excited for a fresh start and to head into the 2016 season.
How has Barry Bonds helped you?
He's been great. He didn't say much at first, kind of just observed and watched, and then, for the last couple weeks, he's kind of talked to us, given us some pointers, and it's been a great relationship so far.
Christian, a lot of players always have said, well, spring training's a little too long. So far, how are you able to stay focused knowing that opening day is just a week away?
You just know you got a job to do. You got to be ready for a season, and you got to lock it in each and every day. It's only a couple hours a day, and we're focusing on what we need to do, kind of turning the gears on and taking it serious like the season's about to start.
You hit .342 after the All-Star break. That was third best in the National League behind Votto and Peralta. What was the difference going down the stretch for you, and how does that carry over to potentially this year?
I think just staying healthy and, staying on the field, getting consistent at bats, and it kind of just started clicking for me, and I was able to carry the momentum throughout the season and finish strong.
Christian, I know this is a touchy subject for you. I know you've been upset right now, but how's your brackets?
I didn't do one. For some reason I didn't do one.
Smart. This year it's been a tough one for a lot of guys.
I know. I think I knew that. I knew going in everybody was beating everybody, so I had no idea. And I kind of just forgot to get around to it, and before I knew it, the games were starting, and it was too late. So I'll have to get on it next year.
Last year, you wound up with 7 home runs, 44 RBIs. Are you one of those guys that goes into a season with potential numbers in mind, or you just let it play out?
Hey, just help the team win, and when you get in a situation, to cash in some runs, you got to do it. And I think if you focus on doing your job every night, everybody focuses on doing just their job. Your numbers are going to be what they are at the end of the season. I think everybody's going to be happy and have a good record.
You're going to be slotted in the 3 spot. You have D and Marcel in front of you, and you have the big man Giancarlo behind you. How awesome is it to have that much power and threat behind you?
Yeah, I'm in a great spot. I feel like we have a deep lineup, the 1 through 8, and every spot's really a good spot. If everybody's getting on base, doing their thing, I think we got a chance to have a special offense.
Well, Christian Yelich, have a great season. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Christian Yelich, Gold Glover back in 2014, and he's back with the Marlins in 2016. 4-2, time to stretch. Along with Eduardo Perez of Fox Sports Florida, I'm Dan McLaughlin, Fox Sports Midwest. And speaking of baseball families, it's quite the family there, the Bells. There's David Bell.
And in the 80s, when my father went back to the Reds to finish his career 3 years in Cincinnati, I was able to spend a lot of time with David and his brothers in the clubhouses also in the batting cages, having a lot of fun and practicing our swing.
What a good guy, David Bell. I think he'll be a manager before this is all said and done.
Without a doubt.
Sing-Hwan Oh picked up, was a star in Japan and Korea as a closer. Really a national iconic type player, just like we've seen with Ichiro and what he's meant in terms of offense. Well, that's what this guy has meant in terms of pitching and getting his first taste of Major League Baseball. He's had a good spring. Interesting to see how he pitches too, because Eduardo, when you watch him, and we talked to his interpreter the other day and visiting with he doesn't even realize he's got a little kick with the left foot, a little hesitation, which we see a lot of those pitchers that come from overseas. The hesitation right there, then the kick.
Then the other hesitation right at the end also.
Exactly. Jerko again gets Cole Gillespie.
And speaking with Mozeliak at the beginning of spring training, I asked him, I said, what makes him stand out? Why was he so good? And one of the biggest reasons is a lot of movement. You see right here at the end, right there, that hesitation. That right there, if hitters start their move at the same time that they usually do with other pitchers, they're going to be ahead. They commit, and that's exactly what O wants, them to commit.
Ground ball to Adams off the bat of Gordon. Out number 2. O has had really quick innings too. He's around the plate. They talk about the fact that he's got 5 or 6 different variations of how he cuts the ball and sinks the ball, changes speed, split finger. It's not overpowering. He can get into the mid-90s if need be, but he hasn't hit that so far in camp, and he doesn't need to right now.
He doesn't need to. If he can locate and can be able to attack the zone, the corners well, you don't need to put that much stress on the arm.
It's all about deception, is it not?
All the time.
Yeah. I get a kick out of his interpreter, Eugene. And he's quite the story, too. Born overseas, then he came over here, actually had military service, went to the University of Cincinnati. I mean, he's been all over the place and did some work for O's agent, and a friendship was forged, and they said, hey, we need a guy to help us with this. And technically, if you wanted to, let's say Derek Lilliquist wanted to go out and talk to O, they could bring him out, the interpreter. And so he sits in the bullpen with the guys, and they get the biggest kick out of him.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So he's with us all the time. Here's another ground ball out in front. Carpenter makes the play, and Ozuna is retired. Scoreless frame by Sing-Hwan Oh. We head to the 8th. It's 4-2. Marlins on top.
Choose from full season plans starting at just $6 per game, half season plans at $3, and 3 great 20 mini plans. All season ticket plans include entry to the Fish Family Loyalty Program and guarantee access to the 2017 All-Star Game at Marlins Park. Go to marlins.com/season tickets. That's the 2017 All-Star Game.
Score is 4-2. The Marlins leading the Cardinals as we move to the top of the 8th. Eduardo Perez of Fox Sports Florida. I'm Dan McLaughlin, Fox Sports Midwest. Well, everybody's in spring training form. I mean, if you're going to flip food, you got to practice, right? You got to practice a little bit.
Keep her busy. Come on. Toss it right.
Let's see it. Yeah, the dad said, the heck with
Mom. Come on, Mom. Let me play.
Great to see families here at the ballpark. Edwin Jackson, his second inning of work. Edwin Jackson was, there's a souvenir for that young lady. She's got the bunny ears out for Easter, too. But Edwin Jackson was part of the 2011 World Championship Cardinals. St. Louis picked him up as Jerko sends this out to deep left field. It's at the track near the wall, and the catch is made. Jed gave it a ride trying to pick up his first Cardinal home run. There's one away. Edwin Jackson, also one of the rare players that was not born in North America. He was born actually in Germany. His family was he's an Army brat, so he was bouncing all over the place and finally settled in the States. And a real good guy, too. He's had a couple of tough years, but a real good guy.
He is upbeat all the time. I actually took my dog Mickey, a poodle, into the clubhouse today, and he was the first one trying to chase him down.
Wait a minute, you did what?
That's right, you heard it. Trying to relax the team a little bit. Mickey he's a social guy.
What are you, Joe Madden? You're going to start bringing...
8-month-old toy poodle.
A toy poodle.
Has to, I'm 200 some pounds and 6'4", and then you get to all of a sudden you see a big guy with a little poodle. Come on,
loosens things up
big time.
And what did your dad's in the Hall of Fame. He's a strapping man and tough.
That's right.
Rough.
That's
then he sees his son rolling in with a poodle.
I'm secure.
You got to be secure in your own skin to do something like that.
Absolutely. It's my sidekick. No, my daughters really love that dog, and they needed a companion. So Mickey's the one.
Wow. What's happened to you?
This is the first time he comes to a ballpark, clubhouse, first time. I wonder if the Marlins are going to tell me that I can't bring him in more often.
You could be in trouble with that one.
Oh, boy.
Here's a 2-2.
I have a tough decision to make.
Well, if it's only a poodle, that's... it's not like you're bringing in some huge animal.
He doesn't shed. He doesn't shed.
Doesn't shed. That's a key, too.
That's fair. For all of those that have allergies.
Keep the uniforms good, No issues. The 2-2. Hanging breaking ball and a single for Brian Pena. Pena on base for the third time today. A double, single. And also a walk and a run scored.
Doing number 33 proud right there. Off-speed pitch. And see, Edwin keeps that ball up. Not one pitch that Brian does not like, especially if it's up. Gets a base hit. He's looking in the dugout saying, Skip,
please.
You going to run for me or what?
Please get me out of here.
Come on, clean it up, Skip. There it is. Yes. Oh, see.
He's happy about that. Get me out of here. By the way, he is one of the most enjoyable people to be around in professional sports. And I've only been around him a little bit. But Brian Pena, his attitude every day at the ballpark, he's smiling, he's talking, wants to be a minor league manager at some point, but always comes to the park smiling. And he said the other day, we were talking, I said, are you always this happy? And he says, Dan, how could I not be? I've come to this country. I make money. I love baseball. I love America. That's what he said. And he truly means it.
And those are the people you want to be around with. I saw him earlier also in spring, and he goes, hey, Javier Molina, all he does is work, man. I have to be here. I have to open up the park at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I already have my catching gear on. But, wow, now I know why he's so good. And
there's Chris Conroy, the Cardinal trainer, with Brian Pena. And that's Eugene right there visiting with Pena as, we'll get the words from Pena through Eugene. So there you go.
I wonder if you need the Spanish interpreter to talk to the other interpreter to then talk to and then back and forth.
Right.
Fortunately for Pena, he communicates very well in both languages, no problem. And this is what you want. This is what spring training is about, getting to know all of your pitchers. Not only does Yadi have to know, but also Brian has to know just in case. what they have, what their feel is, what they like to throw in certain counts, and where to place the glove. That's very important also, the mitt. Remember, last year, Cueto, when he went to the Kansas City Royals, had a lot of issues with Salvador Perez behind the plate. One of the biggest reasons, Salvador Perez's target, he wanted it, Cueto, Johnny wanted it a lot lower, like Brian Pena always gives you that target down low. Pitchers want the target low. They feel that it's better for them to be able to miss. If you're going to miss low, don't miss down the middle.
Speaking of the Giants, this being an even year, so this is their year, is it not?
Oh, boy.
10,
This
12,
is their year.
14, now 16.
Very good pickups with Jeff Samardzija and Johnny Cueto. A lot of question marks with their health, but so far, so good.
2-2 is tap foul. What about the National League East in terms of the Marlins especially? If they can stay healthy, this is a good lineup.
It is. It's a tough division. When you
Very
have
tough.
the pitching that the Mets have, and you have Syndergaard as your number 3, that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the Nationals, I believe, with Bryce Harper leading the way offensively, Scherzer there. That's a team that has a chip on their shoulder. They have a really good manager in Dusty Baker that makes things better, makes teams better every time he comes in. Track record speaks for himself. Their camp has been phenomenal. Spent a day there with them. It's a good team. The trick to the Marlins, Dan, is the beginning of the season. They have the 3 tough teams out west, the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, and the Giants early in the season. They get them early in the season, plus then boatload of games against the Nationals.
Little flare into center field off the bat of Garcia. That's Washington, who's the pinch runner for Pena, racing to third. So the tying runs are on for the Cardinals, and the go-ahead run will come to the plate. Yeah, you look at what Arizona's been able to do. They add Shelby Miller. They sign arguably the best free agent pitcher that was out there in Greinke. Big deal, but it's interesting. In my mind, it's Tony La Russa saying, look, I'm going for it. I don't know how much longer I got in this game. You know, I'm going for it. And that's what he's doing. That's a good team.
Right, and their question mark right now is A.J. Pollock. Is he going to be healthy? The last time he played in a spring training game was March 8th.
Sore arm he's been dealing with.
Sore elbow.
Yeah.
And that just, he's had at-bats in the backfields, but at the same time, you need him. He and Paul Goldschmidt are the heart of their offense.
Jeremy Hazelbaker, who's had a good camp for the Cardinals. He was released by the Dodgers midway through last year in their minor leagues and was off for about 6 or 7 days, retooled his swing, went back and worked with some people that could help him out. Cardinals picked him up, and he just took off from Double-A, then was brought up to Triple-A, and the numbers kept on piling up. There's a ground ball, and what a play at first base by Bourne. He robs Hazelbaker of at least 1 RBI, and if that ball gets in the corner, maybe 2, we got a tie game. We're going to see him coming up. One of the best hitters in baseball today. That's Giancarlo Stanton. He's coming up. Bottom of the 8th, and it's 4-2. The Marlins leading the St. Louis Cardinals along with Eduardo Perez of Fox Sports Florida. I'm Dan McLaughlin of Fox Sports Midwest. This is the Cardinals closer coming off a club record 48 saves a year ago. Trevor Rosenthal, the 25-year-old, that's the best in Cardinals history. And here's Ichiro. Fun matchup here as Ichiro greets him with a base hit. He's 42. That's not supposed to be happening when you're 42.
Well, Ichiro defies the odds of that, and one of the reasons he gets in great shape, does a lot of stretching, a lot of plyometric work, pitch right down the middle, started off slow, but with his track record, you don't look at the numbers, you look at what he brings to the table. And by the way, he did play with Mickey today also.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah. He had him in his arms. He'll be making another appearance.
Well, Stanton earlier this week, when he swung on that 3-0 pitch and hit the home run, his first of the spring, was against Trevor Rosenthal. So that was just a few days ago. Ichiro, by the way, could make history this season and get to 3,000 hits. He's only 65 shy. As Stanton pops it up a mile high. And the catch is made by Garcia.
That was up there. Good to see Garcia still in the game also.
There it is, the all-time hits leaders. And Ichiro trying to join that exclusive 3,000 hit club. Total hits, by the way, for Ichiro Suzuki is 4,149 if you combine his time overseas playing in Japan and what he's done now in Major League Baseball. They say, by the way, he is one of the most popular players in that clubhouse, too, with the Marlins, Ichiro.
Oh, he is, and he has really embraced the young atmosphere in that team. He just watches from afar and joins in and really just loves to be a part of that young atmosphere. He and Marcell Ozuna have really bonded well. I think it's going to be very difficult for him to get to those 3,000 this year. If the Marlins, if he gets there, that means the Marlins haven't had a good season.
He played in over 150 games though last year.
He was overexposed, and not because of talent, just because of the age factor and stuff like that. But it was getting him closer to his target of 3,000 hits. Again, he gets there, that means the big man in right field is missing games, or the big man in left field is missing games. And that's not what the Marlins' plans are.
2-1 the count on Martin Prado. Mentioned that Rosenthal notched 48 saves, which was one better than Lee Smith's 47 for the Cardinals in 1991. Lee Smith with a career 478 saves, which is third all time. Mariano Rivera was 652, number one. Then Trevor Hoffman, Lee Smith, and then John Franco. That's hit out of play. So 3-2 the count. The new catcher, by the way, is Eric Fryer. Saw some big league time with Minnesota a year ago. Not a bad way to spend Easter Sunday here at the ballpark. Let's see if they want to start Ichiro on this 3-2 pitch. Bohr is on deck, and now time is called.
Dan, you know when it's down the stretch in spring training, when that truck in right center field is there, that's when you know things are getting down to crunch time.
It's the moving vans or the moving trucks. Ichiro, a great jump, doesn't matter. It's a walk to Prado.
See that truck right there? That's what you want your stuff to go on. Once the spring training is over, that means you're pretty much almost a lock to make the team. And it happened to me one time. They were sending all these guys down. They wouldn't call me in, and I would count heads. I'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I get all the way to 25, and then I put me on like 26. And then we go to Memphis and play a game over there in Memphis before the season. I'm still counting, and I'm like, okay, 27, now 26. And Tony would call me in the office. I'm like, no. And then he calls me in the office and he says, Eduardo, we're going to take you to St. Louis, but we still don't know what's going to happen. Is that right? So I do the workout, and right at the workout is when they told me, okay, take care, see you at Memphis, but keep doing your thing. Hopefully you'll make it right back up if something happens. And true to his word, I was up before midseason.
Did you enjoy playing for Tony La Russa?
I loved it. I loved it because it was consistent. You knew exactly what your role was, and he would communicate well to what he expected out of you. And that's exactly what you want if you're a role player on a team.
Just have an idea of what the role is, when you might play, situations, those kind of things.
Right.
Here's a 1-1. And a ground ball. Could be 2. Shovel pass to second. And it's a double play. That was not easy for Greg Garcia.
And I said, because he hesitated on the way in.
We'll talk about it when we come back. 4-2 as we head to the ninth.
Garcia, when he saw contact, he did not know if he wanted to go back or in. Watch Justin Bohr. As soon as the ball hits dirt, right, bam, right there, Garcia has to already be charging in as hard as he can to work the hop. Instead, he went first to his right and then in, and he was caught in between. He was fortunate enough to make the play. That's one thing that Perry Hill, the coach for the Marlins, always preaches. Ball hits dirt. It doesn't matter if you're the third baseman, shortstop, second baseman, or first baseman. You automatically charge, and you will automatically get that perfect hop right around knee level. It's a secret to the trade that he's taught every major leaguer that he has been in touch with. Perry Hill, one of the best, known as Bones, affectionately by the Fish.
Eduardo, too, he was also, it looked like, and this is Brad Hand, the new pitcher in for Miami. It looked like he was also in between on whether or not he should tag the runner and try to get the double play started that way.
But all of that happens because of the hesitation. Staying back now causes that. If he comes in hard, he then automatically has to then flip the ball to his right and work the double play that way. A lot easier. It would have looked a lot smoother.
Carpenter is 0 for 4 today, and twice he has had to face what would be the situational lefty. Remember, they went with a lefty right after Jose Fernandez made his start today, 3 2/3 with 6 strikeouts. The 1-1, and that's fouled back by Carpenter.
He has, but at the same time, I think he's actually loving the fact that he is facing Iggy, and now he's facing Hand. That way he stays in and keeps that front shoulder, the right shoulder in on him. And he really has never been intimidated by any left-handed pitcher. He's hit him so well with power also.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Check swing. Did not go. I always find it interesting, too, to watch a veteran early in spring. And you see the at-bats, and you've seen him take thousands of at-bats, a veteran. And then early in spring, they're letting, and there's the numbers against lefties, but they're letting pitches go just to get timing, just to see more pitches, see live action. Where in regular season play, they jump on some of these pitches.
No, last year, Matt was a lot more aggressive. That came to fruition, actually, in the postseason against the Dodgers the year before. We were talking about that last year when we got together, you and I were, about how aggressive he's been since. So far, he's seeing pitches, tracking. That's what his spring training is all about, track pitches.
3-2 is taken low, so the leadoff man is aboard. Tying run comes to the plate.
This is where the Marlins didn't use A.J. Ramos to close the game. Usually now at the end of spring, you start bringing a closer in late in. Why? Because starters stay throughout the game late. And you see on deck is Moss. Piscotty started the game. Carpenter. This actually should be a situation for A.J. Ramos.
Piscotty is 1 for 4 today. Singled off of Ramos to center field back in the 5th. And a ground ball hit left side. Can they get the lead man? They will. Out there, the turn, just to make that even close. How good was that?
That was a beautiful turn, even though you did not get the double play. But Rojas, not mistaken at second base, makes a nice turn, quick feed. You see that right there. That's what he's known for, his defense. He's had a really strong offensive spring also. But you see him right there. Boom. I'm liking it.
Just even make this close is a tremendous play.
Reminds me of the days Fernando Vina playing second base with the Cardinals.
He could turn it.
He could.
So Don Mattingly will go to his right-hander. The Cardinals will have Randall Grichuk as a pinch hitter. And Grichuk has had a terrific spring for St. Louis. So that's it for the lefty hand. It's 4-2. We're in the top of the 9th. The tying run at the plate when we come back. Miami Marlins 2 for 3, a run scored, a couple of RBIs. So good matchup here as Randall Grichuk will be the pinch hitter for St. Louis. And Grichuk, as I mentioned before we went to break, has had a really good camp. This is Ogando, the hard-throwing right-hander for Miami.
Young arms that can really bring the velocity. And you see right then and there the 190 games in the minors, 6 seasons, 19 and 19. Has been able to control the walk issue as he comes up through the organization. Big key at bat right now, facing Randall Grichuk. He has some power, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. You talk about, you and I were just saying about when you were coaching, looking at all the different ways to evaluate stats. Well, one of the things that a lot of teams look at is just hit speed and miles per hour off the bat, and this guy generates some of the best in all of baseball. Stanton does that clearly for the Marlins. He had 4 of the top 5 hardest hit balls last year, but Grichuk does that for St. Louis.
Well, I had a buddy of mine yesterday. He called me. Every year he calls me and he tells me, he goes, hey, give me somebody for a fantasy team. Who should I take? This is as a sleeper. I said Randall Grichuk. I didn't hesitate at all. Just watching this batting practice, seeing if he is as healthy as he can be this season, this kid can put up some phenomenal numbers.
Along with the power comes some strikeouts. He'll be the everyday center fielder for the Cardinals. 1-0 pitch. Little jam shot to short, could be two. Couldn't get it out of the glove, but still they get him, and that's the ball game.
Slow turn, double play. Quick turn, no double play.
Right. Eduardo Perez, this was a lot of fun, my friend. Always great to see you, and I know you're going to have a great year with Fox Sports Florida.
Thank you, and this really flew by, Dan. Pleasure working with you.
You're the best. We'll be back to wrap it up in just a moment. The Marlins defeat the Cardinals 4-2.